Sorry that guys, I was talking about something rubbish. Anyway, what I was saying about here is this location here, FF, we want to count them from FF this time. So you got 0 0 and we go FF E D C B A 9 8 7 6 5 4, and we actually get F4, which is what the others were, so we put F4 there. Anyway, so now we've done that, we now move on to the PSG, because it's going to sound a little bit weird if we don't edit the PSG sounds as well, you know, and then it like part of it will say higher, you know. I mean, it won't sound terrible, but it just makes sense to make everything sort of like the same. So DOC will count down CF E D C B A 9 8 7 6 5 4 4 4. Yeah. So we get C4. There we go. Now remember, look, I said it's got 2 extra bytes, so you want to ignore them and go to the next location. Then jump to DO again. C4. Now the next one is used for the noise, like I said, like the little scuffering or the hi-hats. It doesn't always have to be that way, but in Green Hill Zone that's what it's using, so we don't need to edit it at all. I think I whacked the mic there, sorry. We don't need to edit it at all, that's fine. Of course, make backups of things. You know, even if you're like, don't even save it yet, I could even just go and back up now if I wanted to, but I've already done it. So I mean, we're only doing minor edits, we just want to see what this does. So we save it, minimize it, and then all we do is we build back. Build it, open up your emulator. I'm using K Fusion as I always do. Build up Sonic 1 built. You might get a little bit of a let me turn that down a bit, glitchy Sega sound, but that's fine. We'll I'll get to that, fixing that. We want to put in the level select code, which I'm sure most people would know, but if you don't know, up, down, left, right, A start. You can just play Green Hill Zone if you want, but I prefer, like, you know, when you just want to listen on something, I prefer just to go to the sound test. So go to the sound test, let's have a listen. That sounds a bit funny, that the bass is really low. But this is, you might actually recognize this. I did a similar thing for my my hack actually, and I slowed it down to make it sound like a bit of an ominous Green Hill Zone, which we could actually do and that's what I'm going to do. So let us close. And in this case, I am actually going to alter this. I think I just put O2, save it, and it will make it considerably slow. Or actually, what I'm actually going to do is, I'm actually going to, where are we? I'm actually going to change this back to 0 0, because I think, if I remember correctly, this actually sounds better. So I'll leave it like that. Build it. We've gone under the we've altered the tempo divider just to make it incredibly slow. We just want to see what it sounds like. So minimize that. Did I build that? I think I built that. Open it again. And let's hear and see if we get a slower Green Hill Zone going on here. So level select. Okay, that's too slow, but that's kind of what you get the idea, and that's why most people tend to I don't want that. That's why most people tend to just stick to 0103, because that's just too slow, you know. We can increase it, we can make it fast, we can go, I can do 0104, and that should actually make it faster. So let's do that. Really, the best thing to do is just experiment. As long as you know what to edit, like I said, that's the tempo, so you can mess around with the tempo, see what that does. Mess around with the tone, see what that does. You know, make a high pitched, whatnot. I mean, you could even do your remixes of Sonic 1 if you know what you're doing in a hex editor. You know, you can mess around with the voices, the tones, make the drums play a bit differently. Yeah, look at that. It's like Sonic's on speed shoes or something. So yeah, that's pretty much it for simple editing, really. And when it comes to music and whatnot, one thing I will do before we move off is let's edit the drums. Why not? Let's change some things. So remember the location 0646 is the 6th and 7th byte when you look into your file, music file. So remember that. Again, like I say, tutorials, the tutorials, read them up. That's what they're there for. You know, reference them because they will help you. They are a godsend. So let's go to the location. Okay, so we've all got bunch of 8 numbers and other stuff. So let's get into DAC. So as I mentioned before, if we go down and look at drums, we've got like 81 apparently means kick, 82 snare, clap, etc. Oh no, sorry, that's not too bad. Kick, snare, hide, panny. A lot of noisy sounds, like for like PSG and stuff. And it's got like Sega sound if you want, but I don't know why you'd want it, but but there you go. So let's have a look here. We've got a lot of 81s and a lot of 82s. Pretty much, Green Hill Zone just uses the kick and the snares. And the snares are a little like the main, I guess the main part of the drums that you hear. So for most cases you'll be using the 82. To get the 82 and 81. Now the in-between parts, you've got 80 here, which is a rest, which is kind of like a, before it starts, get a little bit of a rest, slow it down. And also this is a timer delay, and that's how long like drums get played. So like 0881 means it will be maybe really fast or really slow or whatnot. If you just play them consecutively, it's just got a certain speed, just plays at a certain speed, whatnot. In this case, I believe they're all playing at 08 that speed, because you haven't changed it. So you've got 08 A1 and then 10. So at this point, you've increased the speed or slowed the speed of the drums, and then next one, and then 08 again, and then whatnot. Now here, as I'll briefly discuss, I'll get into it when we convert and port and do more other stuff. This here is called a conditional flag. Now conditional flags again are sort of like pointers, locations, and basically they do different functions. Again, I'd look at the tutorial and see the different functions that they do. Like for example, you've got a F6, which is like a return flag, which basically means once it's done whatever it's doing, it resets. It goes back. It's like a loop, basically. It loops back to its location. F7 goes back to a location of your choice. So say for example, you've just played a load of drums at a certain point. Now we want to repeat the drums. You put F7 right here. And then you do two little bytes here. Now the second byte is how many times to repeat it, if I remember correctly. So it wants to repeat it like 07 times. And now the next is the location. Now remember, as I said before, whereas you start as 00, and if you want to go back, you then count down to FF. This is what you do here. So location would be 00, but it's actually FF you start from, and then you count down. So it wants to jump back so many bytes. So you'd be like this, and you go, I think it starts from here, and you go FE, FE D C B A 9 8 7 6 5 4 3. Or if that's not it, which normally it stops on a drum like this or this. So it's probably that you count it from here, and it'd be like E D C B A 9 8 7 6 5 4 3. And you could say or here or whatever, and it could say, look, this is where it wants to repeat it, or this is where it wants to repeat it, and whatnot. And it will repeat it 7 times. Then once it's done at 7 times, it then does whatever you're doing next, so it then plays more drums to eventually come to F6, which you have F6 here, and then you have the location, and then that basically, this means that F6 is going to go and loop all the way back to this location here. Okay, complicated? Yeah, I'm trying my best to break things down for you guys, but you will need to know how to edit conditional flags when porting things over, so you can, you know, because different games have different formats and not all the same, so you need to know, you know, what the formats are, so then when you port over Sonic 1 you can alter them and change them and fix them and whatnot, so you don't have like you know, one location to go to another location, but now you put it in Sonic 1 it can't find that location, so you've essentially got a garbled up music file. But anyway, enough of the complicated stuff, let's do something simple. So I'm not going to edit any of the time delays, I'm just going to have a look and say, okay, look, here we go, we've got different samples here. So this is going to sound absolutely terrible, but this is just so you guys know that you're not going to break the game if you edit this, you know, you can just do random stuff sort of thing. So you know, let's do a high to panny, I guess. So we can just change it to A3, and we can do, I'm going to change all the 8.2s to 8.3 up to a certain point. I'll do it till there. I'll do it till where it repeats it, and I won't do it anymore. Now another thing you can do, if you want to replace certain bytes, like, you know, a load of them, what you can actually do is, if I remember correctly, hang on, there is a replace button. There we go. What you can do is you can say search for F9 and then replace it with E3 or whatever, and just replace all, and it replaces all. You can also find and replace selected things as well, which is handy. What I like to do is I like to just go to like F3 or E3 or whatever, and just, you know, go through them basically. You know, scroll down, you know, there's an F3, there's an F3 up there, whatnot, you know, and scroll through them all. That's what I like to do anyway. So yeah, anyway, we've changed it to a panny, save it, build, and let's hear those random sounds. Like I say, it's probably gonna sound really odd, but like I say, it's just a test. You know, we're just trying things out, see what it sounds like. That's pretty much all you do if you're editing an existing song. When it comes to you know, if you know the locations, just look at the equivalent like notes. You know, if it says 81 is this, 82 is that, 83 is this, you can change them. There you go. That's what it sounds like. I'm gonna put that speed down because that sounds ridiculous. But yeah, I think that's it for now, really, because this has gone quite long. This has been quite a long tutorial, so I'm going to be discussing more stuff. Like I said, please read the tutorials that our MarkeyJester has done, and the Sonic, you know, the Sonic Music Hacking Guide. I definitely recommend that because it's a massive help. So yeah. Most likely in the next tutorial I'm just going to have a look. Actually, let me close down and have a look at my notes. So I've sort of tried to explain basic understanding. I'm not going to do more on pointers and headers, pointers and headers and whatnot. I'll explain a little bit of the voices. I don't really alter the voices myself, not in Hex. Normally if I'm putting a MIDI or something, then I'll you know, explain things that way, sort of thing. But I haven't really edited voices in Hex, so I don't know if I'm going to do too much into that. You know, I'll explain more on conditional flags as well, more on the conditional flags, and then we'll move on to simple porting. Simple porting, you know, explaining what you need to do, different formatted locations to everything and whatnot, altering the drums and just cleaning up the song, fixing it, you know, equivalent, basically a Sonic 1 equivalent song to whatnot and everything. But yeah, for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I do apologise if it is a bit confusing, but bear with me, I'm trying my best. Like I say, music hacking isn't my strong point, so I will try my best to explain things. And like I said, that guide is really good. Like I say, special thanks to MarkeyJester for that. Make sure to check the description for the links that you'll need. Remember, you know, get this assemblies or help guides, hex editor. Hopefully I can find the same one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll look forward to the next part.